overweight, but I was going towards it. And for me as a teenager, I was, you know, going into college, and it was a life shock. And I was like, right, okay, I need to stop this. I started doing cardio at the gym every day. I cut out carbs for a whole year. Didn't have a year.
God, can do that now.
I mean, my worst nightmare. Yeah. But I went on a shake diet, which I'll come into later. But, you know, I will never promote that on my page. I think that is the worst thing. Shake diets are just awful. Yeah. And then after about a year of doing that, it was so miserable. You know, when you're drinking the shakes and these juices and these teas, it's basically just drinking laxatives. Like, obviously you're going to lose weight, but not in a good way. It's like being ill. Yeah.
And also eating food. It's like, that's the best bit. It's not the liquid, is it?
I know, there's like no nutrition in it. And then from then on, like after a year of doing that, like I finally broke free from it. But for years, I was so miserable. I was just constantly trying to look good. Like I was constantly trying to keep up an appearance. And until I hit like 21, I just I had no self-love at all. I was constantly trying to work out to look good and eat to look good. I wasn't doing it for enjoyment. Absolutely. But then I came out of a really toxic place in my life. And when I was like 21, I was like, wow, I can't believe I've just wasted all these years being so unhappy. Why am I doing this? And ever since, I've just like completely transformed, which again, I'll come on to later because that's like the positive part of it.
Yeah, you need to talk about that
bit. Yeah, it was a long journey, but now I'm at a place which all I want to do is help people get to this place because I'm out the other side now.
Yeah, you're so young though, which I actually think, I don't know, I mean, people can comment below. I don't know if that's like actually quite unusual for it to be that young, because I would have thought perhaps especially in girls it would be teenage years that I think people would start getting, sorry, all of a sudden this light's coming in, where is this light coming from? It's raining all day. Like shiny. So that's really young. So how did your parents feel then? Like what were their kind of coping mechanisms with that?
It was really difficult. So through the whole phobia part, of course, it was devastating for them. And it was really hard for them to cope with. You know, they did everything they possibly could. And then throughout life after that, they supported me. But, you know, when I was on a shake diet and no carbs, my parents were like, you know, you can't keep doing this. But me being a teenager was stubborn as anything. I dropped down when I was 17, 18 to under 7 stone at one point, which was so unwell for my height and my age. It was just, I went right back to the beginning. And I remember looking at the scale and thinking, yes, like I was really happy about it. And I remember telling my mum, and she was like, that's not okay. Like, you know, you that's not okay to think that way. And
I completely get that. And it's so upsetting because in that moment it's a huge win for you and you're like, this is great. No one is going to tell you anything else at those scales. You're like, yeah, get in there. This is so good. Yeah, I completely agree.
And that's the thing, like I've had such a supportive family, like I cannot ask for a better support system around me. But me being me, looking back, I was so stubborn in my ways. I knew what I wanted at the time. And until I kind of came out of that, I realised I probably pushed my family away by, you know, just not listening to anyone. And, you know, all I wish I could do is tell myself what my family were telling me at the time. And
definitely.
I just wanted to whack it into my brain. But
did your friendship struggle then? Like, because obviously you're quite young. So weirdly, this is off topics. I had this weird thing in my GCSEs where I didn't sleep. If any of my school friends are listening to this, I had like an hour of sleep a night. But I like literally pushed all my friends away because I'd struggled to come in. So I imagine eating is quite similar.
I basically made my best friends at age 15, which was quite old.
Okay, yeah.
I changed schools for probably because I was quite upset in the school I was in beforehand. And that was probably one of the reasons, because I was not myself.
Yeah.
And I met my best friends when I kind of went into the overeating stage because I was so happy. Yeah. So I have a lot of good memories as bad as it sounds, from that time.
Yeah.
But then when I started kind of going into the other way and became really miserable, I can imagine I was more of a snappy friend. I was definitely snappy to my family. I was definitely out of character. Luckily my friends put up with me because I'm friends with most.
That's so great. They should stick through. And my friends just commented below the insomnia years. Oh my god. My maths teacher was like, Emily, snap out of it. And I was like, Mr. Vines, I don't know what's wrong. But it's just
insomnia is just that's a whole nother topic now. But
I think it's weird, isn't it? It's like you look back on those times and you just think, how was I like that? So I think for anyone struggling, it's kind of like you will get through it. But I think at the time you almost don't realise there's a problem, do you at all? Like you
no.
And
I
you just think
I thought I was doing the best thing. Like and looking back, like shake diets is something I will come on to later, but I could go on for hours about how much I hate those things.
Absolutely.
Anyway, talk to me about you.
Yeah, so I guess I wouldn't say I definitely didn't have an eating disorder, but I think my journey's in two parts. So I think I was going back through my Facebook photos and I was like, when was this? I think I can see my mum's listening to this. She was saying my weight's kind of fluctuated over the years, but I do think over the last few years it has balanced out. And I'd say the two pivotal moments were 18 and 21 for me. So 18 was sort of when I started sixth form because I'm an older baby. So I went into sixth form and weirdly, I was known as like the gym freak. So I'd go to like the school gym that was on site. Everyone would be like, oh, Emily, off to the gym on your lunch break kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, as I approached my 18th birthday, that was in the first year of sixth form, I just completely switched. And I can't tell you what it was or what moment led to that, but I just started doing everything in excess. So every time, I guess you get your driving test, don't you? Like you pass your driving test, you start going out, everything's exciting. It's kind of thrown at you, like freedom with your car, like your alcohol, your nights out. But I started doing everything in excess. I started throwing up every time I'd go on nights out, like drink that heavily. I'd get quite sick. Yeah. And then I started, this is going to sound funny to some people. Like when you say it out loud, it does sound comical, but it's actually really quite sad, I think. I started like going to Nando's by myself, like having a takeaway from Nando's. I started going to drive-throughs by myself, like fast food. And that is so unhealthy. And I'd actually go after the gym, which is terrible. Like I wasn't putting two and two together. It's almost like I was pushing myself, thinking I wouldn't see a change. Like, oh, it's fine. I'm just not going to put on weight. I'm just going to like drink, eat fast food, like do whatever I want until someone says anything to me. And I think the main thing I would say about the kind of 18 years is that no one ever really pulled me up on it as much. They never said to me, you shouldn't be doing this. Not that it's a problem to eat fast food, it's totally not. But they didn't sort of say, oh, like you're eating quite a lot, or maybe you shouldn't do that. I think it's the age group and I think it's the maturity level. I think you wouldn't know what to say to someone then, whereas I'm 27 now. Am I 27 or 26? Nearly 27. I think I would hope someone would go, bloody hell, like that McDonald's like 5 times this week is not okay. And then when I was 18, I just ballooned, unfortunately. And where I'm super small, I'm 5'3", it just didn't suit my body type. And I knew that I was being unhealthy. And then, people just start, I think you just notice in photos, don't you? I was like,
that's what I found when I just kind of looked back on the photo from a year before and the photo from there and was like, okay, there's a difference. I don't feel myself. I don't feel happy.
Yeah, and it was weird actually, because I guess with the 18 period, I didn't feel unhappy. I just was, I guess, it's an issue, but I was pushing myself. And I hope my mum doesn't mind me saying this, and my sister, I remember them getting really upset. I used to like secret eat, so they'd find like cookie wrappers and things like that in my room. Like, I don't know what it was, but anyway, so I saw that and then I started addressing it essentially. And I think that was it really. So that was kind of the 18 period, then my weight stabilised. And then the next period was when I went to uni. So when I started uni, I was, just kind of like a regular weight, I guess. And then where you have so much free time at uni, I had a gym right next to my halls. And I started going every day, started losing weight, and then the compliments